Google Cloud Generative AI Leader. More free questions at dotCreds.com. Question 1. Which of the following best describes the content generated by generative AI? A. Fixed and predetermined. B. Generated based on learned patterns and user input. C. Limited to text generation only. D. Based solely on historical data. Take a moment, then we will review the answer. Concept tested, seed.001.6. The correct answer is B. Generated based on learned patterns and user input. B is correct because B, correct, content generated by generative AI models is based on learned patterns from extensive training data and specific user input. Why this matters? This is important because recognizing the flexibility and adaptability of generative AI outputs aids in evaluating its potential applications effectively. Question 2. According to the Vertex AI Inference Reference, what should be evaluated when assessing the feasibility of generative AI opportunities on Vertex AI? A. Feasibility. B. Ethical considerations. C. User impact. D. Risk assessment. Take a moment, then we will review the answer. Concept tested, business value. The correct answer is A. Feasibility. A is correct because evaluating feasibility involves assessing whether the generative AI opportunity can be practically implemented within the current constraints of technology, resources, and business environment. Why this matters? This is important because understanding the feasibility helps in determining whether a generative AI project can be successfully executed within given constraints. Question 3. What does Google's approach to responsible innovation involve according to the source? A. Developing cutting-edge models. B. Empowering ethical decision-making. C. Building advanced products. D. Increasing market reach. Take a moment, then we will review the answer. Concept tested, responsible AI. The correct answer is B. Empowering ethical decision-making. Emphasizes that empowering AI decision-makers and developers to consider ethical implications fosters innovative solutions aligned with Google's responsible innovation approach. Why this matters? This is important because fostering an environment where ethical decision-making is prioritized helps ensure that technological advancements are beneficial and safe for all stakeholders. Question 4. What is the primary characteristic of generative AI models as described in Vertex AI's documentation on generative models? A. They create new content based on learned patterns and user input. B. They analyze large datasets for insights. C. They simulate human decision-making processes. D. They generate random data points. Take a moment, then we will review the answer. Concept tested, generative AI concepts. The correct answer is A. They create new content based on learned patterns and user input. A is correct because generative AI models use learned patterns to generate new content when given user inputs. Why this matters? This is important because it clarifies the core functionality of generative AI in creating new content from learned patterns and user inputs. Question 5. What should be assessed when evaluating the risk associated with generative AI opportunities on Vertex AI? A. Technical feasibility. B. User feedback. C. Ethical considerations. D. Market competition. Take a moment, then we will review the answer. Concept tested, business value. The correct answer is C. Ethical considerations. C is correct since assessing ethical considerations helps in identifying and mitigating risks, such as bias, privacy issues, and harmful outputs. Why this matters? This is important because addressing ethical concerns proactively can prevent misuse of technology and maintain public trust in its applications. Question 6. What does the Vertex AI generative models documentation highlight as a fundamental commitment in responsible AI? A. Ensuring fairness. B. Creating new content based on learned patterns and user input. C. Improving model accuracy. D. Enhancing data privacy. Take a moment, then we will review the answer. Concept tested, responsible AI. The correct answer is A. Ensuring fairness. A is correct because ensuring fairness aligns with Google's commitment to building ethical AI systems, which is a key aspect of responsible AI. Why this matters? This is important because ensuring fairness is crucial for building trustworthy and accountable AI systems that serve diverse user needs. Question 7. According to the documentation on generative models, what is a primary use case for generative AI? A. Creating new content based on learned patterns and user input. B. Generating static data from predefined templates. C. Automatically classifying existing documents into categories. D. Predicting future trends using historical data. Take a moment, then we will review the answer. Concept tested, generative AI concepts. The correct answer is A. Creating new content based on learned patterns and user input. This highlights the primary use case of generative AI as described in the documentation. Why this matters? Understanding this primary use case helps in effectively applying generative AI for innovative and creative purposes. Question 8. When assessing the business value of generative AI opportunities on Vertex AI, which aspect should be evaluated to ensure that the technology can be implemented effectively within an organization? A. Feasibility. B. Risk assessment. C. User impact. D. Cost-benefit analysis. Take a moment, then we will review the answer. Concept tested, seed 0.006.6. The correct answer is A. Feasibility. A is correct because feasibility directly matches the business value. Generative AI opportunities should be evaluated for business value, feasibility, risk, and user impact, should concept tested in the question. Why this matters? This is important because assessing feasibility helps ensure that generative AI solutions can be integrated smoothly into existing workflows and infrastructure. Question 9. Which of the following best describes Google's approach to responsible AI in generative models? A. Privacy and safety are unrelated to generative AI. B. Responsible AI includes fairness, accountability, privacy, safety, and human-centered design considerations. C. Responsible AI only starts after deployment failure. D. Responsible AI means hiding known limitations. Take a moment, then we will review the answer. Concept tested, Google Gen AI Responsible AI. The correct answer is B. Responsible AI includes fairness, accountability, privacy, safety, and human-centered design considerations. This statement accurately reflects Google's commitment to ethical practices in generative AI. Why this matters? Understanding these principles helps ensure ethical development and deployment of generative models. Question 10. What is a key feature of generative AI as described in Google Cloud's documentation on prompt design? A. It generates new content based on learned patterns and user inputs. B. It depends entirely on pre-existing data for output generation. C. It uses random number generators to produce varied outputs. D. Its primary focus is on generating images. Take a moment, then we will review the answer. Concept tested, seed 0.003.3. The correct answer is A. It generates new content based on learned patterns and user inputs. This accurately reflects the key feature of generative AI as described in Google Cloud's documentation, emphasizing its ability to create novel content from both learned data and user prompts. Why this matters? Understanding this key feature helps in effectively designing prompts and integrating generative AI into various applications. More free questions at dotCreds.com.